Hi, welcome back to my views and news. Thanks for watching the channel. Breaking news for you. Alarming developments in the Horn of Africa. Unprecedented tensions between Ethiopia and Somalia. A Somali military spokesperson, Somalia's military spokesperson, has threatened to wage a full-scale war on Ethiopia. He mentioned Afars, Oromos. He mentioned Siti zone of Ethiopian Somali region. He talked about support for Somalia, military support from other countries. Details for you in this video. Now, we know all this tension started 3 days ago when Ethiopia signed an MoU with Somaliland, which claims to be a country unrecognized by any international forum or country. Somalia claims international law also states that Somaliland is part of Somalia. According to the MoU between Ethiopia and Somaliland, Ethiopia will have access to a port for 50 years on lease in Somaliland. Ethiopia will build a naval base there too, and in return, Ethiopia could recognize Somaliland as a country, and Somaliland will have shares in Ethiopian Airlines. Since the signing of this MoU, we have been seeing escalation in tensions between the two countries, Ethiopia and Somalia. Somalia is trying to rally regional and international diplomatic support on its stance that Ethiopia is violating Somali territorial integrity and sovereignty by signing a deal with Somaliland, which is part of Somalia. But now it seems that tensions are not just diplomatic tensions. By the way, Somalia has recalled its ambassador to Ethiopia. Tensions are not just diplomatic tensions. Somalia's generals are speaking. I did a video last night. I showed you a clip of General Ibrahim, a top Somalia's general who was seen visiting naval headquarters of Somalia's military. And he told the military, the navy, to be fully prepared that those who want to reach Somalia's seas, Somalia's waters will never succeed. They won't get anything. So he put navy on alert. Then another interview, another statement from the military spokesperson. By the way, when a military spokesperson speaks, his views are not personal. He represents an institution. So his views are representative of the position of that institution. So what this Somalia's military spokesperson said is the official position of Somalia's military. Alarming things which the general mentioned in his interview last night. His name is General Mustafa Anoud. General Mustafa Anoud is the spokesperson of Somali military, a general. And he threatened to start a war in Ethiopia if Ethiopia presses ahead with the implementation of the MoU. He mentioned Ogaden. He used the term Somali Galbeed. For Somali region of Ethiopia, he used these terms. He said that we have contacted former military officers in Ogaden, in Somali Galbeed, means in Somali region of Ethiopia. And these military officers and people have assured that they are ready to fight. They're ready to start a war if Mogadishu takes the lead. So you can say proxy war has already started because General Mustafa confirmed his contacts with elements in the Somali region of Ethiopia. He did not call it Somali region of Ethiopia. He said Ogaden, Somali Galbeed. So if Ethiopia can recognize Somaliland as a country, Somalia is going to back an uprising in the Somali region of Ethiopia. There are historical grievances. Groups in the Somali region of Ethiopia have been fighting for a separate Somali country, Ogaden, or you can say a country consisting of all Somali territories. And Somalia has been accusing Ethiopia of intervention in the past too. So Somalia is now playing the card which it has, that it can back an uprising in the Somali region of Ethiopia. Very clearly, the General Mustafa confirmed his contacts, military's contacts, Somalia's military's contacts, engagements with groups in the Somali region of Ethiopia. And that is why maybe we saw that when Musi Bai Abdi visited Ethiopia to sign the MoU, he visited Somali region as well. He was welcomed by Mustafa Umar. Somali region is crucial because through Somali region, Ethiopia wants to gain access to the port in the Somali land. Secondly, the general level allegations against Ethiopian regions and ethnic groups. He said Oromos and Afars are annexing Somali territories. Serious allegations. You see the gravity of the situation. That Somalia's military spokesperson is talking about Afars and Oromos. By the way, on Somali region, Ethiopia, Oromian border, on Somali region, Ethiopia, Afar border, we have been seeing clashes for years. Especially on Afar Somali border, there have been dozens of episodes of violence. I did several videos this year, last year. Garbai se, Dato, Hondofo, like areas have been disputed between the two sides. Afars accuse Somalis of backed by Somali Isas from Djibouti. Somalis accuse Afar of having the backing of Ethiopian military, Ethiopian government. So in several episodes of violence, hundreds have been killed. Both accuse each other of annexing their territories. Somalia is fueling this conflict, saying that Afars are annexing Somali region's territories and Oromos as well. Definitely, this interview is going to create serious shockwaves. So it will lead to escalation of tension. More to come. He talked about other things as well. Then he leveled allegations against Ethiopian government. That Ethiopian government wants to annex territories of Somalia to reach Zilak port, which is in Somaliland. He said that through Siti zone, through Somali region of Ethiopia, Ethiopian military, Ethiopian forces want to move towards Zilak. They want to annex Zilak port. And then he threatened. He said that Somalia will deploy its military to both Zilak and Berbera. If Ethiopia starts deploying its troops to the Somali region of Ethiopia, which is very much expected. Why? Because Ethiopia has signed the MoU with Somaliland. MoU will be implemented, and for that, Ethiopia will have to deploy its troops. And just a few weeks remaining, in 1 month, the deal is due to be signed. Before that, Somalia says, General Mustafa Anud, Somalia's military spokesperson, says that Somalia will deploy its navy, not military, to Zilak and Berbera. By the way, Zilak is close to Djibouti, close to Ethiopia. Berbera, obviously, is Somaliland, Zilak as well in Somaliland. Both are not geographically connected with Somalia. So Somalia cannot send its ground forces to Zilak and Berbera, because between Zilak, Berbera, and Somalia, there is Somaliland. But obviously, Somalia can send its naval forces, its navy boats, and Somalia can airdrop its soldiers near Berbera and Zilak. He did not share details of how Somalia will deploy its forces to Zilek and Berbera, but he said clearly that Somalia will deploy its forces, its navy, to Zilek and Berbera if Ethiopia tried to make a move to annex Somalia's territories. He was basically saying that if Ethiopia tried to implement the MoU, Somalia will not sit silent. He talked about diplomacy as well. He said that we are trying diplomacy. We're trying to resolve this issue through talks, through negotiations. But we are preparing. We're prepared for all scenarios. We will defend every inch of our territory. Then he claimed, I am not going into details regarding capabilities of Somalia's navy. I'll do separate videos. Just analyzing the interview, the claims, the position of Somalia's government, Somalia's military. Then he claimed that Somalia will get support from other countries if Ethiopia decides to annex Somalia's territories. Not diplomatic support, military support. He did not mention the names of countries, but he mentioned that soldiers have been trained in Eritrea, in other countries as well. Who will support Somalia? Eritrea, Egypt, Djibouti, we don't know. He did not mention the names of countries, but he said countries have assured to us they'll support us to protect our sovereignty and territorial integrity. Then, very importantly, he talked about the presence of Ethiopian military in Somalia. Ethiopian military is operating in Somalia independently and as part of African Union peacekeeping mission. And he made a big claim. I don't know if this claim is true or not. He said half of Ethiopian National Defense Force soldiers operating in Somalia are Tigrayans. And if they're told to withdraw, if ENDF members are told to withdraw from Somalia, these half of ENDF deployed to Somalia will not return. They won't return to Ethiopia because they could be arrested. Tigrayan soldiers have been seeking asylum in other countries. Tigrayan ENDF soldiers. So that is why ENDF cannot withdraw from Somalia because its soldiers will oppose this decision. All the points made by the general are very controversial points. Somalia is making full preparations. It is changing gears. It is not just relying on the statements of EU, Arab League, OIC, Egypt. It is making a military preparations, a bad, disappointing start to 2024 in the Horn of Africa, where tensions are rising. Why is Somalia reacting so strongly and so swiftly? Because not a lot of days remain. According to the official announcement by Ethiopia and Somaliland, in 1 month, the MoU is going to be implemented. 4 days have passed. Somalia will have to be very fast to thwart the upcoming deal between Ethiopia and Somalia, and that is why tensions are rising. We'll analyze the statement of the general about the Somali region of Ethiopia. Does he have any connections there? Is he just threatening Ethiopia? Will Somali region revolt against Ethiopia? That we'll analyze in upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.